is a birth of regrets. The reality of life is that we hear more no's than yeses. In the summer of 2009, I was 19 years old, working a summer position at Target between my freshman and sophomore year at undergraduate school. I was working in the woman clothing department and I noticed a lady staring at me from across the aisle. I figured she probably had a few screws loose, so I attempted to ignore her very intense stares. She eventually managed to make her way a little bit closer and closer to me where I was working until she eventually walks up to me and says, "Hello." I said the famous Target quote, which is, "Hi, may I help you find something?" She then asked me, "Were you born in this country?" And I was immediately offended and I said, "Yeah, I was born in this country." And then she said, "Do you have any kids?" I said, "No, I don't have any kids." She then asked me if I was married and I said, "No, ma'am, I am not married." She said, "How old are you?" I said, 19. "May I help you find something?" She then said, "You are the most beautiful girl I have seen." And I said, "Oh, thank you. I didn't wear that much makeup, but I did the best I could, but thank you." She then said, "I think you could be the next Miss USA." And I stared at her in pure disgust and said, "Pageants? You're telling me pageants like Sandra Bullock? You think I should compete in pageants? I'm in the army, okay? We don't do pageants in army." She then asked me to meet her at Starbucks the very next day before my next shift at Target. And she just wanted to do a little bit explaining when it comes to pageant is. And apparently I was pretty open-minded at 19 years old because I actually agreed to meet her very next day. The next day, she brought this foot-tall stack of pageant books and proceeds to convince me to enter into a state pageant 3 months later. For those who don't know, when it comes to Miss USA, you have to win your state first, okay? 3 months later, I compete in my first pageant and I lose. I go back to the second compete in state pageant and I lose. I go back to the third year compete in state of pageant and lose. Go back to the fourth year competing in the same pageant and lose. I go back to the fifth year, y'all, compete in state pageant and lose. But get what? I go back to the sixth year. Guess what happened? I lose. I called her on the phone and said, "You told me I could be the next Miss USA." And she said, "Dashauna, keep working, don't quit, keep going back." And in June of 2015, she passes away from leukemia. 6 months later, in December of 2015, I won Miss District of Columbia, USA. And 6 months after that, in June of 2016, I became the first soldier to win Miss USA. Giving up is a birth of regrets. Giving up is something I did a lot of growing up, and I don't think I really challenged myself to stick anything through until I joined the track team in middle school. I remember having to ask my mom after tryouts and making it to the team for my very first pair of track shoes now at the time. She walks into our house and she has a bag that has a nice Nike check sign on it. So I get excited because I wasn't getting these shoes very often. I go to take the shoe box out the bag and notice that it says a size 9 on it. Mind you, in 7th grade, I was a size 5. I opened the box and slid my feet into the shoes, and I looked at my mother and I said, "These shoes are too big." She says, "I know, I did that on purpose." I was like, "Why would you buy shoes that are too big on purpose, ma'am?" And she says, "Because I know that you're going to grow into them." Now, many of us have goals that we are trying to achieve. But the person we are right now is not the person that we need to be when we cross the finish line to our dreams. So we must walk and face ourselves on this journey to our goals because we haven't grown enough to fit the shoes that we need to achieve on our aspiration. At times, our purpose drops in our laps as if the heavens threw it by accident. I ask only one thing of you all today after you leave this building. Do not feel failures. but please be terrified of regret, as giving up is the birth of regrets. After you walk out this door, you will receive 100 doors shut, slam on your face. You will have 100 moments that will be filled with someone telling you no or telling you thank you for your application, but we regret to inform you that we've chosen a different candidate for this job. You will sit in 100 different interviews, so you will not get the job. The reality of life is that we all hear more no's than we hear yeses. And we will fail a lot, and I mean a whole lot. But what I ask of you today is to not take no for an answer. Don't be afraid of no's. Be afraid of the possibility of a yes that you have prematurely destroyed because you decided to quit before the clock strikes 2 o'clock. You can ask anyone, a friend, a family, anybody. I love a good no. Please tell me no. Telling me no is like adding fuel to a fire that is now set ablaze because of your single no. I love additional reason to work harder. Please give me a reason. So today, I challenge you to fight, to work, to not stop here, to believe so heavily in your aspiration that you too will not fear the word no, but instead you would choose to welcome this. Thank you.